In this video, I'm going to introduce you to a fantastic plant that's almost always in flower, the Erysimum. Now, the Erysimum is in fact the perennial wallflower. You may have heard of wallflowers that are normally planted out in autumn, but this one stays in the garden all year round. And I'll kid you not, I've got one of these over in the far border, and there hasn't been a single day where there hasn't been a bloom on that flower. It's so marvellous. Just take a look at it. Now, there are many different types and colours. This particular variety is called Poem, which is a lovely lilac colour, and there are many other different single colours and bi-colours. But just take a look at the dainty flowers opening up. There's always another bud waiting. As you can see, there's some just here. There's whole clusters of them here, 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 here. The whole plant is just surrounded by flowers. And having this particular variety in will give a blush of colour just where you need it most. Now, the bulk of its flowers, of course, is April right the way through to September. But as I've said, it's never not in flower, which is great news for the pollinators. The bees, the butterflies that visit the garden. It's a particular favourite. So it's not only beneficial to us humans, but also the wildlife that lives in the garden as well. It grows to about 45 centimetres, something similar. It prefers a sunny location to help it keep producing flowers and keeps to a nice compact bush shape as it grows. So it'll grow particularly well in containers, lovely for the front of the patio, either in with other plants or just in a container on its own, and also in borders as well, because it has a massive colour in spring and summer, but you get the sporadic colour throughout the winter months as well. It's a very high performer. The thing about plants that are still producing flower during the winter months, if it gets very, very, very cold or you've got some severe warnings, you can put a little bit of horticultural fleece over the top to protect the flowers it's producing and the foliage too. You can propagate this with semi-hardwood cuttings in spring, and generally it's a pretty problem-free plant in the garden because it's quite tough and it's so prolific in the way it grows. It's a very good low-maintenance plant to have. And the only sort of pruning that you need to do is just give it a light trimming, keep it to shape so it doesn't get too leggy. Now, the term leggy means where a plant is drawn up. So it just grows up. It's obviously growing towards the light, the nature of the plant, and sometimes it can get a bit spindly. If you prune back, you keep this nice bush shape. They're pretty carefree. Of course, slugs and snails can be a little bit partial to them, along with a lot of other plants, so just keep an eye on them. Because it's such a compact plant, if you take a look at there's a lot of foliage on the inside as well as around the outside, and it's been a bit damp, you can get a little bit of mildew. You just pull off the leaves that are infected. Or, this one isn't so bad, you can take out some of the inner branches so it's a little bit freer on the inside and airflow can get through, and that dries up the mould. Right, time for this one to join the other one in the garden to give me a bit of flower colour during the winter months and lots of flower colour in spring and summer. Now, this spot is made for this plant, right at the front of this border. Now, I only planted this border last year, and some of these plants are herbaceous perennials that have actually died down. Behind me here, this scrappy looking plant at the moment is a riot of colour when it comes to the summer. This is in fact yarrow. It's a killia, and the flowers are sent up beautiful. So something nice, and in the front of that, I've also got here a lovely tree peony. So I'm looking for something quite small at the front. Lovely purple flowers there, contrasting well with the variegated pyrus behind. A lovely leucothea here as well, another evergreen. So I'm sort of getting my balance of evergreens in one spot. But as you can see, other than the flower heads of the hydrangea at the back, there is no other flower colour here. So this is where my friend, the perennial wallflower, will be giving me a bit of help. It's a little bit clay here, but it's pretty well drained. Clay soil can be difficult to dig, but it's a very nutritious soil. Because it's a brand new border, in other words about a year old, this was grass beforehand. Wherever I get the opportunity, I'm putting a little bit more enrichment into the soil. So pretty well drained here. There's a little bit of clay loam, but I'm putting in some peat-free compost just at the bottom. It's got some plant food mixed in, and I'm going to work that in there. So when the plant sends out roots to get established, it's going into a bit of a comfy cushion. Squeeze the bottom of the pot, tip it upside down. There we go, into the hole. You want to plant it the same depth that it is in the pot. Plenty of peat-free around the outside. And then I'm going to work soil back round. Take a bit of time because you want it loose all the way around the outside. When I say loose, not compact. And as you're moving it into position, the old subtle boot, firming it. It looks great already, doesn't it? That little bit of colour. And now we've got a bit of bark chip that's around here, so I'm going to move some of the bark chip back into position around the plant in readiness. And there we go. There we go. You're into your new home. There's something very magical about planting in your garden. When you get back in bed at night and you're thinking, oh, that's in there, and then the following year you can watch it grow. The best bit about gardening is not a single moment in time, but watching a progression as it grows and as you engage with it. It's magic. And of course, bees and butterflies. There's something new here for you to tuck into during the summertime. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. I'm doing lots of these plant profiles on beautiful plants to add to your garden. So please subscribe to my channel for loads more great content and advice like this. And if you turn on your notifications, I will let you know when the next new plant profile comes about.